Hey guys, good morning. Again, it's Thelma. So as usual, our discussions are always geared towards topics that teach us or talk about how we can guard our minds. And so today's topic is one that kind of allows us to create synergy between our mind, our heart, and just our environment. And I'm going to be talking about listening to the signs. And I'm sure you're wondering what in the world is she talking about? Well, I'm going to break it down. Basically, what I mean by listening to the signs is developing your intuition, developing your acute sense of perception. In other words, developing your ability to perceive, things that are, to perceive messages or signs or things or truths and even facts that may not necessarily always be obvious to the eyes. In other words, direct perception of truth or fact, which is independent of any reasoning process, and so over time, we have seen, and why is that even important? Let me talk about that for a little bit. Let me talk about why that is very important. That is a very important skill to develop, because if you're going to be successful, we've already talked about you having self-awareness. We've talked about so many different things, but self-awareness is one thing that is kind of directly tied to your ability, to your to the strength of your perception, to the strength of your intuition. And so your ability to actually pick up on the obvious signs around you and interpret the relevance of those signs to your current situation or your future situation or your desired situation is very important. And so basically what we how do I put this? I've come to realize that, some of us human beings we analyze things or we feel things on three different levels. For some people feel things more on a spiritual level, right? And some people feel things more on an emotional level. Whereas some people feel things more on a logical level. In other words, it has to be logical, it has to be proven, it has to either be visual or theoretical in such a way that it is logical for them to actually connect, for it to actually resonate with them. Whereas some people are more spiritual, believe in more of spiritually perceiving or receiving or interacting with the things around them or with the world around them. Whereas some people relate more to the emotional. If you can appeal to their emotions, you can appeal to their, their perceptive or their intuitive self, and so some people have a balance between one or two or all three of those different channels. And so what we really want to do is, first of all, you want to identify where your strength lies in any of those three channels. In other words, are you the kind of person that perceives things more on a spiritual level? Are you the kind of person that perceives things more on an emotional level? Or do you perceive things more on a logical level? When you have identified where you belong in either of those three categories, then the next thing you want to do is, after you have gained self-awareness of who you are, the potential that you carry within you, what you have within you, and how you can take control of your mind to use it to create the circumstances around you that you want. When you have gotten to that point where you become that self-aware, right, you now want to connect your self-awareness to whichever one of those three perceptive skills that you have more strength in. And when you do that, you begin to notice things around you, that guide you, that give you direction on the steps that you need to take, to activate the results that you desire. Because at the end of the day, we are all part of a whole. right? We are all part of a whole. From a spiritual level, for those of you who are spiritually inclined, from a spiritual level, that means that we are all made of the image of God, who is the whole, who is the universal, and we are all part of that whole. And therefore, it's like the sheep, it's like the saying that says the sheep knows the voice of the master. It's like the child knows the voice of the mother. There's a way that a child will be behaving, and if the mother calls the child's name in a certain way, that child knows that, okay, mommy is not messing around, she's not playing. So there's a connection that is not necessarily, something that is obvious to other people around. So when you are connected to the whole on a spiritual level or on an emotional level or a logical level, it doesn't matter on what level, but when you are connected to the whole, to the source, call it whatever you want to, but I like to think of my source as God. When you are connected to God and when you have a self-awareness and you connect yourself with God, right, it then opens up, you begin to see signs around you that are guiding you towards the path that you need to follow in order to have that breakthrough, in order to produce the results that you are meant to produce. In other words, you have discovered through self-awareness what your definite purpose in life. And now you connect yourself either spiritually, emotionally, logically to the source on a consistent basis, whether it be by prayer, whether it be by meditation, whether it be by reading, whether it be by listening to certain messages and things like that. You connect yourself to that source. When you do that, you will begin to see signs, things happening around you that you need to be aware of, that you need to be be intuitive about, and don't ignore them. When you see those signs, and some of you already know what I'm talking about, there's been times in your life where, you probably had a thought and said, I need to do this. And that voice, that source that you're connected with is giving you that message and telling you need to do this. But when you didn't do it at that particular point in time, there were consequences, or somebody else did it and you're like, it occurred to me to do that, but I never got around to doing it. Sometimes those are the things. It's sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes it's obvious, like, when Jesus Christ was performing signs and wonders, those were obvious signs and wonders. But before the time of Jesus Christ, there were things that would happen, that the prophets and the men of God at that time knew when God was speaking with them, even if they weren't seeing him physically, even if they weren't hearing a voice, even if they weren't receiving the message in an obvious manner. So as human beings, because we are all part of a whole, we need to connect to that source. And the way we do that is by listening to the signs. And for some of us, listening to the signs could be, on a spiritual level. The signs for some of us could be on an emotional level. For some of us, the signs could be on a logical level. I hope some of this is making sense and resonating with you guys. But that's really what I felt compelled in my heart to share with you today. If you have any feedback, comments, please share. I definitely love seeing your comments, and continue to subscribe to my blog and share these videos with your friends. Share the blog with your friends and family if you feel that, it's something that will help somebody to become the best person that they can be. As always, thank you guys for listening. You have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.